Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shavonne and welcome. I'd love it if you went ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of my crazy wild story times or my eyeshadow tutorials. So first of all, let me just address why there wasn't a video this past week. I actually took a last minute trip out of town. I'm in Houston instead of Dallas right now to come visit and hang out with some friends. And since it was like a last minute thing, I didn't grab all my studio equipment that I use to do my eyeshadow tutorial. So that's the reason why there hasn't been an eyeshadow tutorial, but I will continue with those as soon as I get back home. Also, since there won't be any eyeshadow tutorials this week as well, I'm going to replace them with story times. And I'm also working on a vlog since I've been here. So we've gone to some pretty cool places. We're going to hit some other cool places today as well. And also, if you haven't already, hop on over there to Instagram and follow me at Shavonne.Richie. I've posted a lot of the pictures from our little excursions here in Houston. Oh, look at my nails. They look terrible. I need to get them fixed. Okay, so today is a story time, and this story time is more on a serious note, and I want everyone to draw something from what I'm going to tell you, or what I want you all to pull something from this story and maybe learn from my mistakes. So first of all, let me just start off by, I was raised extremely, extremely sheltered. And I think the majority of the young women or females in this type of religion are raised that way. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and when I became an adult, I thought the world was like cotton candy clouds and gumdrop bushes, and nobody would ever do anything to harm me or hurt me. I didn't cuss, smoke, or nothing like that. So we're going to go into the story. With me saying that, we're going to go into the story. So I met this girl. We worked at this club. Y'all can Google it. You're going to know exactly what type of club it is. I think I was around 20, 21. I think I was 21. Yeah, I had to have been like right at 21 because I was able to go into this other club. Okay, so I met this girl. We worked together at this club called Night Trips in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I felt like we kind of became friends. We became friends quickly, and I thought she was my friend anyways. And she lived kind of out of town. So when she would come into the city, I'd tell her, well, you can come stay at my apartment. If you're going to work like the whole weekend, we can both work the whole weekend together and just sleep at my place. So she's like, okay, cool. So we started doing that, and there was no problems at all. We got to work. We work as a team together to make more money. So one day, this guy comes in, and I had never seen him in our club before, ever. But I didn't think nothing of it, because I think we also had like a military base or something that was close by as well. And I know a lot of different soldiers would come in when they were on, what's it called? When they weren't on base. So I thought, well, maybe he's a soldier or something. And I noticed that he would he was watching us. He was watching quite a few of the girls. And then my friend, she went over there and she sat with him. And she never did any dances with him. He never bought her a drink. Like, she just sat there like the whole night. I thought it was weird. So I'm thinking, why aren't you up making money? So that night goes by, and we go back to work the next day. And we worked a double that day. So we worked the day shift, and then we worked into the night. And he came in on the day shift, and he sat there and watched all the girls again. And then she went and sat with him, and she sat there the whole double shift. The guy was there the whole double shift. Didn't ever tip her on stage, didn't ever get a table dance, nothing like that. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, this is weird. And like I said before, I was still kind of naive as well because of the way I was raised. So I didn't think nothing of it. So the weekend came up, and the following weekend came up because we worked that whole weekend before, and she stayed at my place. Well, the following weekend was coming up, and she's like, hey, let's go out and party this weekend, whatever, since we bust our tail all last week when we made money. Let's go out and have some fun. So I'm like, okay, cool. And there was this new club that had opened. It was called Club ID, Club Ed, something like that. And it was like it was the place to be. Like, literally, there would be lines of people around the block trying to get in, and they would only let certain people in, and then sometimes you had to wait till someone came out before they would let anybody else in because they were too capacity to capacity. I can't even talk straight today. Forgive me. So anyways, but they knew me, like the bartenders knew me, security knew me and stuff like that. And I think they kind of like watched out for me, like, as if I was like their little sister, because they kind of knew that I was naive in a way. So I told her, I was like, yeah. She's like, well, my boyfriend is going to meet us up there. And I was like, well, who is your boyfriend? She's like, the guy who I've been sitting with the past few days. And I was like, oh, and to me, I'm not knowing any better. I was like, oh, okay, so that's the reason why you was sitting there with him and he wasn't tipping her or whatever like that. So I was like, okay, but whatever. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So we get to the club, we walk past the line, and I smile at the door guy. He lets us in. So we're in the club. I go up to the bar and I'm talking to the bartenders and stuff like I always do when I go in and chit chat and everything. And so we go and we sit at the table and her boyfriend's already in there. Her boyfriend is already in there. He's sitting at the table. He's like, come over here, girls, come over here. So we go sit at the table and we have our first drink. So we have like a little cocktail or whatnot. And he gets up, the guy that she says her boyfriend, we're going to call him, what are we going to name him? We're going to name him Jared. So her boyfriend, we're going to call him Jared. So Jared gets up, and I notice he keeps going to the bar. He keeps talking to this particular bartender that I'm always, like, he noticed that we had a connection or we knew each other some kind of way. And which I thought was kind of weird. And then he would come back and sit down. So he was like, hey, y'all guys want to get some more drinks? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. He was like, well, don't worry about it. I'll take care of y'all's drinks tonight. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I was thinking to my friend, I was talking to my friend, I was like, man, your boyfriend's really nice, you know, for him to buy me a drink because I'm not with him, you know. She's like, oh yeah, he's cool, he's cool. So he gave us some money and we went up to the bar and I ordered us 2 drinks. And I came back and I sat down at the table, gave her drink. I got mine. We're drinking them. And I'm like almost finished with my drink. There's probably like that much left in my glass. So the song comes on. She's like, hey, let's go dance. Let's go dance. And I was like, well, I need to finish my drink first. She's like, oh, it's okay. My boyfriend will watch it. Me not knowing any better and trusting her because she was supposed to be my friend. I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, y'all go have fun. I'm not getting up from the table for a while. You know, I'll watch y'all's drinks. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we go to the dance floor and we're dancing, having a good time, whatnot. And like, I'm feeling fine. No problem at all. I'm having a good time. I'm laughing. We're partying and stuff. And then one of the bartenders come around the bar, come from around the bar, and I guess he was on his break or something. He came out there and started dancing with me. So we danced together for a little while, and she went back and sat at the table. Well, when he was like, okay, well, my break's over, I'm going to go back to work. He's like, have fun. I was like, okay, thanks for the, what was it? Because he had given me a drink before, earlier, that I didn't have to pay for. So I said, thanks for the drink from before. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. So I go back and I sit down. Like I said, I had a little bit left in my drink. So I slurped it down, and I kid you not, within like 8 minutes or so, I was feeling like really, really off. And we were sitting like a table with stools, and another song came on. She was like, hey, do you want to go dance? And I was like, yeah. And I went to turn around. I was like moving in slow motion. When I put my foot down on the ground, I was like, I can't stand up. I was like, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. I was like, she's like, oh, I'll go get you some water. I'll go get you some water. So she gets up and she goes to the bar to get me some water. Her boyfriend, Jared, is sitting over there. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? You don't look like you're okay. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was like, maybe I'm just a little drunk. I said, but I've only had 2 drinks. He was like, yeah, it was probably pretty strong. Because it seemed like, he goes, it seems like you know the bartender, so maybe he was heavy-handed on your drink. I was like, well, it could be. So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, I couldn't even hold my body up no more. I laid my head down on the table, and I couldn't even get my head up. And I heard, I could hear things, but my vision was really, really blurry, and I had no type of function to my body. Like, I couldn't move a finger. I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't even move my body. I was literally dead weight, slouched over this table. So I remember hearing him say, we need to get her home. We need to get her home. So when he went around, I guess the bartender who I was dancing with, who I said I was kind of friends with or whatever, he comes running around, and he came up to me, he's like, Shavonne, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, I couldn't even hardly talk. And I think he knew already what had happened. So the guy was like, well, we're going to take her home. We're going to take her home. He's like, no, you're not taking her nowhere. So he was like, what do you mean? And my so-called friend, she's like, well, that's my friend. We'll take care of her. He's like, no, I don't trust you either. So I remember that. And so I think they left. I don't even know what happened to them after that, but I know the bartender was like, Shavonne, I'm going to take you home. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So he must have known what had occurred or what happened. So he's like, we're going to take you. I'm going to take you home. I'm going to take you home. Where's your keys? And I was like, trying to point to I could literally could barely, but I was trying to point to my purse that I had a crossbody on. So he opened my purse and he got my keys. And he was like, well, I'm just going to keep your keys. We're going to make sure your car is locked up, and I'm going to drive you home in my car. So he pulled out my driver's license. That's how he knew where I lived. So he had to literally throw me over his shoulder and carry me around the building to the parking lot and put me in his car and strap me in. And I remember like him saying, are you okay? And I was just trying so hard to talk, and I kept on saying, ha, ha, ha. And then I was like, I can't. I thought I was dying. I really did think I was dying. And then he was like, what are you trying to say? And I was like, pittle. I was trying to say hospital, but I could only get like barely any sounds out. And then I was so embarrassed because I started like throwing up in his car like everywhere. And I remember saying, sorry. He's like, no, get it out. He was like patting me on the back while he's driving. He's like, get it out, get it out. So he pulls up to my apartment or not, and he gets has my keys, and he throws me over his shoulder, and he's walking me up to my apartment, and unlocks the door, takes me in, he lays me on the sofa, and he's like rubbing my back. He's like, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm dying. I felt like with my eyes closed, that was the end. Like I was not going to be alive anymore. So he's like, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay. He's like, I'm not going to leave until I make sure they don't come back. So he already knew what was going on. So I guess apparently they called or something, and he was like, you're not welcome here, you're not welcome here, blah, 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 and stuff like that. So I don't know how long he waited, but I woke up the next morning, and I had text messages on my phone, and it was the bartender. He's like, are you okay, Shavonne? Are you okay? Because he was like, I honestly think that guy put something in your drink. And so he's like, I told him not to come back to your apartment. He's like, I locked your door. He's like, I have your keys, and just text me or call me when you get up, and I'll bring them back by, so that way you'll be able to I can take you, get your car, and you can lock up your apartment. So when I got up and I was like still drowsy, I felt like I was really, really hung over as well. I felt like I had no energy, and my mind was still like kind of foggy. And I remember calling her, and I was like, what happened? She was like, oh, you just got a little too drunk. You got a little too drunk. She's like, I need to come by your apartment and get that duffel bag. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah. She's like, that day when I came over, I had a duffel bag. Remember? I was like, yeah. She's like, that's my boyfriend's duffel bag. And I was like, he's not allowed in my apartment. Because once I figured out what happened, I was like, he is not allowed in my apartment. And our friendship was over by then. And I told her, I was like, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take his bag, and I will meet y'all at the mall. Because I'm trying to think what mall that was. I will meet y'all at the mall parking lot, because I want there to be people around just in case they tried some sketch. And I said, he can come get his duffel bag. I said, because your so-called boyfriend drugged me. And I guess he was sitting there listening, and she had me on speakerphone. He was like, I would never do that. I would never do that. And so I was like, whatever. I was like, I'll meet y'all at this the parking lot at this mall, and you can get your crap, and don't ever come to my house again. I told my so-called friend, you're not welcome here either. I said, y'all tried to drug me and set me up. And so I get to the mall parking lot, and then he calls my phone, and he calls me. He's like, you sorry, bitch, blah, blah, blah. If I wanted to drug you, I could have had you a long time ago. And at that point, I was scared. So I was like, listen, I had to get a little thug in me there for a minute, put that little bass in my voice. And I was like, listen, you want to play this game? You won't get your duffel bag. I will call both of my brothers. And I'll tell you, both of my brothers, they're huge. Like, they look like they bodybuild, but they've never like really been hardcore in the lifting weights. It's just like the genetics in my family. The guys are very, very muscular. I was like, I will call both my brothers and they would come up here. And when I said that, he was like, well, just leave my duffel bag outside the mall door and I'll go get it. Because he didn't want me to see what car or whatever he was in. Well, later on, when I went back to work at the club, this other girl came up to me. And I don't know why don't y'all girls like try to warn other people? Like, I don't understand. Like, why would you sit there and watch somebody go like this could have ended like really, really bad. Well, anyway, so I go back to the club and work that day, and I didn't see that girl who was supposed to be my friend. She never came back. So one of the older dancers there, she was like, Shavonne, she said, we was watching that whole thing. I was like, well, why didn't y'all say anything? She's like, well, I thought y'all knew him or something. She's like, that dude was a pimp. And she was like, and your so-called friend was like his bottom bitch or whatever you call him, I guess. I don't even know. I think that says number one hoe or something. I don't know. And she said he was watching you, and I think there was like 3 other girls that were really young too that seemed naive. She said he was watching you and these 2 other girls. And they said, I honestly believe that she set you up to be drugged and pimped out. And that's what they were planning on doing. But thank God the club you went to, security and the bartenders knew you and they knew what happened and they took care of you, because it could have ended really, really bad. So the moral of this story is trust no one. Don't ever leave your drink sitting at a table. I don't care if you trust the person you're with. I don't care if it's so-and-so's boyfriend or so-and-so's cousin or so-and-so's brother. Do not trust them. If you leave a drink there, do not drink it. Go get another one. Or if you don't want them to think that you feel like they put some of your drink, pick that drink up, say you're going to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, pour it out, and then come back and get you another one, get you a fresh one. Because that could have ended like really, really dangerously. And so, yeah, that's the end of this story time. I hope y'all guys took something from it and it can help another young lady out if you become or you get put in the same sort of situation. I hope that everyone stays well, take care of yourself, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of my videos or my iShow tutorials / story time / vlogs. And hop on over to Instagram once again and follow me there and catch up on what I'm doing each week. And I will see y'all guys next time. Goodbye. Mwah.